Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. One day, very soon, gonna wake up on the moon. Brand new yacht and a McDonald's in my living room. Bright yellow Lamborghini, 50-meter swimming pool. Champagne every day, hey fam, what you do? Wanna hang, wanna chill? Oh, you got a mansion too? Oh, that's right, held on tight, jack titties every night. We was in way back when they tried to drop it down to 10. And just couldn't comprehend, ace was strong until the end. Now let's retell it, citadel they be sweating. Had enough of these felons, but the apes we rebelling. Cause we never be selling, till we send it to heaven. Now we be out here yelling, hey screw you Kenny. Bought my wife a minivan to share with the boyfriend, but I pull up in the Benz, plate saying olive crayons. Going on an airplane, don't think we'll be back again. Celebrating every day like it's your birthday. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Today's expectation, probably more manipulation. FUD, a creation of a crooked operation. Bought more while it was low, got more dips than Trader Joe's. Oh, you thought that we'd let go? What the hell you take us for? Holla if you spend your last dollar on bananas while living in squalor. We don't claim to be scholars, we the smooth brain dummies, and we never stood taller. Yeah, we do this for love and we do this for honor. A follower 11 ain't got nothing on us. We the planet of the apes and in MOS we trust. MOASS, oh hell yes. Gonna send it into space, go fire up the jets. Done my DD, call me Elton John, Rocket Man. This is the way, gonna be gorillionaires. Ground control to Major Tom, we about to have liftoff. Call us Neil Armstrong, gonna keep holding on. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Let's fucking go.
What is going on, Moon Gang? Moon Gang, welcome. Today, it is Thursday, October 7th, episode 99. We've had a lot of fun. Lot of fun. I almost feel like tomorrow it's a special day, episode 100. I feel like, Moon Gang, I don't know. I feel like I need to give away some free shirts. I need to give away, I don't know, maybe some Discord memberships. Maybe I'll lower the price of my OnlyFans. I don't know. I need to think about it, but we got to do something to celebrate. Tomorrow is episode 100. Hopefully that's going to bring some good luck for us, but I hope everyone's having a phenomenal day. I don't know if it's your morning, evening, afternoon, night. I don't know what it is, but I hope you're having a great one. And before that bell goes ding, 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 ding today, we do have quite a bit to go over. We have to talk about what's going on in the overall market, a little bit of a crypto update. I have some update for some like individual, I guess, FTD short squeeze stocks. We have some theatrical updates I need to talk about as it relates to AMC. Like I said, we need to talk about crypto, big moves going on in crypto. I need to share a story about a bear that I found, very, very important. And if we have enough time, I need to explain the debacle that's going down at the gym, at least the debacle that I had this morning. So with all that being said, we do have quite a bit to go over. Let's see if I can somehow fit it into the next sub 30 minutes. If not, who knows? There's no rules. Let's just rock with it. Let's let's just do this thing live. All right. The 5 things you need to know before the stock market opens today, Thursday, October 7th. Dow set to jump on optimism, builds for debt ceiling deal. So here's what's going down. The Democrats take the GOP's, basically Mitch McConnell, the minority leader. He said, hey, we have an idea. We're basically going to attempt to play a little bit nice, and they're allowing them to raise the debt ceiling until December. So that's going on in the Senate. So basically, they're expected to vote on it and get some movement today, but that's why we're seeing this turn in the market right now. Because the optimism is the fact that, hey, hang on, maybe like all of our political leaders don't have their heads so far up their own ass that they're attempting to make some sort of, I guess, positive movement on all of this. So obviously a fan of that, but that's why you're seeing green in many individual equities and overall, like I suppose these indexes, the SPYs, the Qs, IWM, all that stuff. But right here, it does seem like we're making positive progress towards taking care of this debt ceiling issue. Obviously, a very, very good situation. Bond yield steady ahead of jobs data Thursday and Friday. So, wait. Let me rewind very, very quickly. I need to talk about one thing that Yellen was saying. On Tuesday, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen had warned that the U.S. should fully expect a recession if Congress couldn't reach an agreement on the debt ceiling, leading to an unprecedented government default. Then during the trading day on Wednesday, yesterday the 6th, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell offered a short-term suspension proposal to Senate Democrats. They were likely to accept the deal that would raise the debt ceiling by a specific amount and allow the government to keep operating until some point in December. So when I was diving into this, it just seems like Mitch McConnell, the minority leader within the Senate, it seems like his entire goal of what he's going for here is to make it so the Republicans don't have to vote on the debt ceiling. He's trying to position it where it gets fully passed exclusively by Democrats. And that kind of seems like to be the political chess match that's currently going on in that situation. All right. But anyway, talking about jobs. Jobless claims post sharp decline to 326,000, better than expectations. So coming at 326K, that's pretty good. That means jobless claims, obviously we want those to go down. And we want to keep unemployment rate as low as we possibly can. But just keep in mind, as we start to see more and more of these headlines, that most likely signals that the Federal Reserve will remain less dovish. Remember, dovish is basically super low interest rates to help bring the unemployment down. And when you do that, though, the trade-off for that is you're creating an environment that is more likely for inflation. And right now, we are seeing a lot of signals of inflation. So the opposite of dovish is referred to as hawkish, and that's when interest rates go up, and that can have an adverse effect on the unemployment rate, but it helps battle inflation. So it's always a big balancing act, the yin and yang. But anyway, as we continue to see headlines like this, unemployment low, the market continuing higher, people taking jobs within the economy, you're going to see the Federal Reserve start to really get more aggressive with that tapering, which we know is going to probably kickstart November, December, end in the mid-year of next year. And then by then, at that point, late 2022 is when I would personally expect that they're actually going to do something about the interest rates and move them away from zero. Initial filings for unemployment benefits totaled 326,000 for the week ended on October 2nd, below the 345,000 Dow Jones estimate and a drop from the previous 364,000. So once again, we are trending in the right direction. McConnell wants to give Dems time to act alone on the debt ceiling. This is exactly what I was just talking about. McConnell late Wednesday said that the debt ceiling offer would give Democrats time to use their majorities on Capitol Hill to craft a bill to raise the borrowing limit on their own without Republican votes. So it seems like some stupid political gridlock, stupid political pissing match. But that's what's going on right now. Obviously, when you're talking about stocks, very, very important to be informed of what's going on politically, because obviously decisions like this have a clear impact on the stock market. I am in no way of a proponent basically of people going full ostrich and putting their head in the ground, be like, oh, politics don't exist, I don't want to do that. No, stay informed. I'm not the biggest fan of people getting into hardcore arguments and or really especially making financial decisions on their own political biases. I don't think that's good whatsoever, but it is good to be an informed person, especially if you're engaging in the stock market. Biden to tout COVID vaccine mandates for large companies. I'm just going to read that, and I already know that it's going to cause a lot of people to start fighting in chat, so let's just scroll past it. George Soros fund owns some Bitcoin, CEO of fund confirms. So I think this is absolutely hilarious. The so if you don't know who George Soros is, he's rich. He's super, super rich. The family office owns some coins, but not a lot. I like how it's like, oh yeah, we like, as in like a full increment value of multiple coins. When a lot of us watch, like in the normal world, we're like, oh, like I own a portion of a Bitcoin. And then he's like, yeah, we own some, not much. Like it's only a couple hundred, not a big deal. Hilarious. All right, wait, hang on. I see something about the volume here. I could turn this up a bit. Hello, testing. I think we're good on the volume. It's coming in at the right levels for me. You might want to just check yours. If something's going on there, let me know and I could try to update it. So speaking of crypto, though, and George Soros, the infrastructure bill, remember, the debt ceiling is one whole political issue going on right now, but we also have the infrastructure bill when we're talking about trillions of dollars. And this is one thing, and I'm going to try to not rant here, but it pisses me off to no end. The infrastructure bill has a new digital assets provision. Under Section 6050I of the tax code, there's a new surveillance. There is a required reporting on returns more than 10,000 from digital assets starting in 2024. If not, there's a possible 5-year felony. So with this, I mean, I would have to dive a little bit more into the legitimacy of like, okay, why would this be reported, not be reported? I'm not here to complain about that part yet. What I'm here to complain about is, what is this doing in the infrastructure bill? I get it. It's how politicians get things passed, and it's what, pork barrel, pork fat, or whatever it's called. I think it's called pork barrel. But I just don't get it. I get pissed off to no end that all of our politicians, like these random little things that they want, they attach it to completely different bills, and they'll title the bill something, put something else in it that doesn't matter at all. And then if you have someone vote yes or no based on the title, they're like, oh, I like you, or I think you're a piece of shit. And they make a decision when they're like, the vote could have been because of other things in the bill that had no relation whatsoever. Why? Why is anything about crypto or digital assets in the infrastructure bill? The fact that we're in a day and age of politics where bills are written that are multiple hundreds pages, and they're given it, and then the very next day they have to vote on it when it's just like bloated with all this BS. It's stupid. I don't see why any single bill in existence, it's to be individual. It should be myopic. We should know what everyone is voting on. They try to obfuscate what like is truly going on in all these bills that we're voting for. It is truly insane. I think it's such a piss poor way for the government to actually function. I don't see it. We should vote on singular things, and I don't see why a bill should be more than like 5 or 10 pages. The fact that they bloat these things being hundreds of pages, and they just start relating all these other things that should not be like voted on simultaneously. I get why they do it. It's how you get these crappy little things passed, and it's how random little whatever senators, representatives end up like appeasing their constituents with random little things that they got in the bills. It's so dumb. It's such a waste of time. And it's why we have a lot of archaic, stupid, backward laws right now, because they were tied to something that was actually valuable for our nation. Moving on a little bit to AMC and some movie stuff. This is kind of interesting. So JP Morgan reiterates Netflix as overweight. This is a bullish thing. They're saying buy NFLX. And a lot of you watching right now, they're like, Matt, why are you talking about Netflix when we're here to sometimes talk about AMC? Hang on, I'm going to tie it all together. Let me just get through this. Even after the recent stock move, we remain positive on Netflix shares based on further strengthening of the content slate in Q4, greater distance from pandemic pull forward, stronger seasonality, and the potential of greater traction in APAC, where Netflix has low penetration. So I don't think this is even that stream of, I guess, mental gymnastics. I think this is actually beneficial for all theatrical companies, specifically AMC. And let me explain why. Every Netflix movie headed to theaters in 2021. Netflix has gotten to the level where they are becoming a titan within the entertainment industry, to the point that the films that they create can battle for Oscars. And they've also realized in their own business model that there is some sort of advantage to theatrical releases. So, for example, these are just like the top 3 movies in this list. A Woody Harrelson movie Kate. It's out on Netflix, but first it went to theater. Another one is The Starling with Melissa McCarthy. She's a comedian, if you don't know who she is. The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal. All of these movies are right now pretty popular on Netflix. You could watch them, but all of them went to theaters first. So with it, as Netflix continues to grow its dominance, let's call it, or its market share, at least within streaming, and it starts creating its own movies, well, it's very obvious that they're starting to see that there's a big benefit to first doing some of these releases to theatrical, venues, and then from there they put it on Netflix. So as this grows and grows, I can actually see kind of a positive downstream effect on other companies such as AMC. So worthwhile to pay attention to. I just found this. There's a lot of movies. All of these ones are theatrical releases first before they found their way to Netflix. Also, this was just posted by Variety. LA County is introducing a vaccine mandate to enter movie theaters. Obviously, there's going to have some political connotations to this, whether you do or don't agree. That's your own opinion. What I think is a bit interesting is as they go up, these mandates go up. I'm just curious if this is going to spill over into other. Is it just going to be LA and they're going to be like, oh, we're doing it and no one else is going to follow suit? Or all of a sudden, are we going to see other big ones doing it, such as New York City? Is New York City going to say, okay, we're also going to mandate it? With it, as the mandates go up, I don't see a world in which that would then prompt more viewership in AMC theaters. If anything, it would be neutral or down. So this is something that it's obviously very, very new. It was just tweeted out this morning, but I want to see, I really want to see how other major counties and other major areas are going to follow suit on it. But just so you know, if you're in LA County, it's introducing a vaccine mandate to enter movie theaters. This in no way relates to the markets, but I take it as a good, omen. I saw this morning. Long live the king, Otis. It is your 2021 Fat Bear Week champion, and this boy is chunky. This is a chunky bear. We're talking 480 pounds, and he has now won the Fat Bear contest for it's his fourth title. The 25-year-old Grizzly beat a younger field to take home his fourth title. This is the champ. We are talking about one chunky boy right here. Fascinating stuff. It's a good omen. Obviously, we just have these archaic bears that really aren't doing it. The new field of bears, they're not taking out the champs. So right here, it tells me that the new bears, the new shorts, the new people we're fighting against, they just don't have what it takes to be the champion. But I do think that the new bulls, the new apes, they're coming in a bit bigger, a bit stronger. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm rooting for Otis here. I hope we're talking about the fifth title, the sixth title. Otis has what it takes to set legitimate records. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. All right, where are we at? Sweet. So we did all of that very quickly. For those of you who are interested in BBIG, they did have an announcement this morning. They are acquiring AdRiser. They paid about $108 million in cash and stock. So BBIG, good chance that's going to be on the move. There was a big acquisition. BBIG, once again, acquiring AdRiser for $108 million. All right. Now let's take a look at some of the actual markets. Crypto, it's still hot. Bitcoin over 54,000, Ethereum at over 3,500. Doge is hanging out at 25 cents. And Sheep is just crushing it. Man, like I said, I have not changed my sheep position. I exclusively have the same amount of sheep that was gifted to me by Voyager. I have not bought, I have not sold, I haven't done anything. And my reasoning in doing this is just to try to give you the most unbiased type of content I possibly can as it relates to sheep right now, because it's going crazy. It's a psychological wildfire. And what I don't get about it is I think there's some people, there's a good chance that there's some listening right now of people who like, I guess, consider themselves to be some form of like ape purist of like everything is a distraction. And it's weird because I see it more from the AMC community. Of course, there's GameStop enthusiasts who think the same, but I just see it more from AMC. You have to understand, if you're an AMC and you're arguing that, it's a silly self-defeating argument. AMC, if you're going to take that path, which I don't agree, that AMC is the original distraction. Like, you can't argue that things are a distraction. The goal of this, AMC and GME, the goal is to shed light on some of the illegitimate actions and loopholes that clearly take place within Wall Street. But other than that, if people are trying to make money on just good trades, good investments, why do you care? Isn't that the point of the market, is to make good bets and hopefully improve your own financial health? The vibe I get from people with SHIB right now of like everyone's freaking out, like you can't be in it. What are you doing? It's like, it reminds me of like an old college roommate. It's like, okay, it's 10 p.m. The party needs to end. Like, why are you just like ruining other people's good times with it? I don't like, just because everyone's raging and having a great time, that doesn't mean throw your risk out the window. If you start to see some weakness, hey, there's no issue locking in your profits. It's not a profit or a loss until you lock it in. So with it, like, I get everyone has great gains right now, and it looks like the trend is very, very strong. And I'm not saying just diamond handing it. I think the only thing worthwhile to truly diamond hand is AMC and GME. But in the meantime, if you're in SHIB and you're making money, if you're in Doge, you're making money, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, any stock, BBIG, SDC, which we need to talk about, ANY, cool, that's awesome. Isn't that the point of this entire thing? And then you get all these like pissy people who are basically just jealous and be like, we can't talk about anything else. Like, dude, just grow up. Like, they're so whiny, they're so complaining about everything, and I just don't get it. I don't get it whatsoever. I am going to be a perpetual AMC GME ape. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue to talk about them, but with it, why can't we talk about other things? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I tried to reason through it, and I keep coming to the exact same wall, that they are just basically selfish, jealous people who, in a certain self, is self-destructive. The amount of people who have made thousands of dollars off of SHIB already and then bought more AMC and or GME has helped increase demand, which then inherently helps anyone who's in AMC or GME. So I would argue that it's just, I try to reason through it, but you can't reason with that. Like, I try to think about, like, okay, what's their mindset? What's their mindset? And I try to put myself in their shoes so I can empathize with it better. But it's just so poorly thought out. Like, the argument itself, it has no legs to stand on. I just don't get it whatsoever. All right, so crypto ripping, markets ripping, IWM up, SPY is up. And then we have AMC currently at 37 and GME currently at 172. So let's do more of a daily breakdown of those two guys. Right here, we know 37 is an important, I guess, pivot level we could call on AMC right here at 37. Would love to see it get above it. Today, specifically, I'm really going to be watching the low 38s, the high from September 29th, the high from October 5th. I want to see it get above that, and then we'll watch the key psychological level of 40, then 41.50. So once again, the low 38s, which is the high from 2 previous trading days, then the key psychological level, and the major breakout comes here at 41.50. And from there, 100%, hopefully in the short term, looking for this gap fill up to 44.20, which is the gap from the 17th to the 20th of September. In terms of support, we have support at the mid 35s and a major support in the low 34s. In terms of GME, we are still in this bull flag. It was trading upward, then we're in this downward channel, 2 parallel lines. It's called a bull flag because they commonly break upwards. The question to it is, you don't know how long it's going to build out for. So the only thing to do with GME at this moment in time is to wait and look for this breakout. The breakout today would be around 173-ish. And then from there, we want it to battle it out at about 185. We have support. So 185, and then also 188 to 190 seems kind of important just in terms of where the stock has and hasn't reacted. In terms of these Ortex numbers, AMC, they've already borrowed $1.53 million against it today, and the market's not even open. This is a new record high short interest, 21, let's call it 0.1%. Short interest AMC, record high, crazy. Utilization is 88%, and the shares on loan is 115.5 million, but taking this into account, we're probably at 117 million right now. In terms of GME, they've already borrowed 68,000 shares against it. Short interest still holding above 15%. We're at 15.3%. So those are your numbers of how we're at least kicking off the day for AMC and GME. I guess the quick reminder is just the fact that, no, the shorts have not dried up. I see some people trying to push that on mainstream media and on social media, but the truth is GME has been coming back up. The shorts are clearly trending upward. And on the opposite side, AMC, it's so obviously, Ron, we're at a record level. How can we say that the shorts are drying up when AMC is literally at a record-breaking level of shorts right now? So that argument is, it's not an opinionated thing. It's just factual of like, there's no room for emotion in that. It's just a fact. It's just, no, we have a record high short interest. No ifs, ands, or buts or anything like that. All right, let's talk about the SPY. The SPY, now with the concerns related to the debt ceiling kind of like calming down, very much putting in play this level right here of a gap fill all the way up to the low of September 27th, 442. There's a couple ways to play this, and obviously I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say should ever be taken as a buy or sell signal. You always have to do your own due diligence, and I beg you to never, ever copy me. But here's how I'm personally thinking about this situation. Couple ways to play it. You could just go long on the overall market. You could go long on individual stocks that really have a high beta related to the market, such as Apple, Microsoft, yada, yada, yada. And you could play it as in just investing and a day trade up to there. Or some people are going to ask me about calls. Is there a way you should play calls on this? I don't think so. Because if you're right and the SPY starts to track up, your calls would go up in terms of price value. But remember, there's two other important things that value an option: volatility, time till expiration. We're never going to change time. Like, if you believe in the fact that time is a linear construct, we're not going to be able to fight that one. We'd have to ask Einstein for a couple ways around it. But the other thing that we can pay attention to is volatility. Now, the volatility, if you check out VIX, VXX, UVXY, as this has been going down, volatility goes up. So it's inversely related. So if the SPY starts to go up, that means volatility goes down. And that's not a good way to play options. You shouldn't be buying calls if you think volatility is about to go down. So I would argue it's not a smart environment to get SPY calls. If you think it is, maybe you think I'm interpreting it wrong, have at it. I do wish you the best of luck. But I think the best way to do it is just to go long, as in buy these stocks, the SPY, overall indices, or stocks with beta really close to 1 or above 1. Or if you really want to play some options, a way you could do that is actually get puts against volatility. You could go long on puts on VIX, VXX, UVXY. That would give you the same type of exposure. Like, it's the same directional bet of what you think is going to go on in the overall market, but you're playing it a little bit differently. And inherently, you're almost playing, it's like pretty meta. You're playing the volatility of volatility itself. So you would be looking right here. I'll just show you the VIX. You're looking for this to continue to come down as the SPY continues to go up. You could watch, I mean, there's a couple of them. VXX, this is gapping down by about 50 cents. You could check out UVXY. This one's also coming down. So all of these things should continue down as the SPY goes up. Once again, these are all just volatility. Let's talk about the Qs. The Qs having a very nice gap up. This one does not have a gap above it the way that the SPY does. So I'd be a little bit more interested in that just from a technical perspective. But in terms of the tech-heavy sector, I'm looking for it to hold above 362, and then I'm watching 367, 368. IWM bouncing off of the support around 218, also gapping up. I want to see how it reacts to 222.60, about $1 above where it is now. And from there, I'd be watching 224 and some change. But overall, I mean, I'm fully, like, with the debt ceiling development in terms of the overall market, definitely feeling bullish this morning. We have to wait for confirmation at open. I want to give it those like first 15 minutes and see how people are really jockeying for position. But overall, I am bullish into the day. And as we see money flow into the market, that recently has been tending to do very well also for AMC and GME. So pretty hopeful, especially just with these political developments. We talked a little bit about BBIG. I just gave you that update that they were acquiring another company. But I also want to talk about Smile Direct Club. So on the Kohrs Light YouTube channel, I did a SDC breakdown just so you can feel more comfortable about what is or isn't going on. SDC is looking strong right now. Once again, I don't know how to be more clear about this. I would never, ever consider this to be anything in the league of AMC or GME. I would consider it to more be a short-term trade. It has higher short interest. It's not a small float, but it's on the smaller side. Utilization is high. The short interest is high. The cost to borrow is high. It's on the FTD short squeeze list, and it's having this push. The only way I would argue that SDC is even better, and we have this nice technical breakout. The only thing that would make SDC better is if it was a lower float stock. That's the only thing in my entire list of prerequisites for FTD short squeeze plays, which once again has nothing to do with AMC or GME. That's a different type of trade, different methodology completely. FTD short squeeze, this has everything it needs, except for I would like it to be a little bit of a lower float, but you're not always going to get a 5-star perfect setup, but this is pretty darn close. Yesterday, I was telling you about SDC. If it can close above the low sixes, it would be very, very interesting. We closed at 675. At this point, I'm looking for it to hold 660. I want to see the continuation to 736. And then from there, I'm looking for $8. But if you want more of a concise, full-on breakdown of Smile Direct Club, that video is on the Kohrs Light channel. Just so everyone knows, if you want all the facts. I even dived into some of the fundamentals. I was talking about it. The short interest, the technicals, the fundamentals, what the company does, but definitely an interesting play. I want to see, once again, almost the way for the SPY, the Qs, IWM. I want to see how those open. I want to see how SDC opens and see if it can hold above 660, especially on volume, would be pretty awesome. All right, where are we at? We are only a couple seconds out. Let's get going, folks. We have 20 seconds till that bell goes ding, ding, ding. Let me just redo some of this. And then as the market gets going, as we're letting it breathe and watching everyone jockey for position, I'll answer your first round of questions.
Ding, 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 the casino is open.
Let's do this. All right, all right, all right. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right, we are pushing, we are pushing. Did you actually read the article about Otis? It goes over a lot of his struggle and how he overcame the tough competition this year. Rich Greenfield, silver medalist, just can't get a dub in anywhere. That is awesome. Hugh. Man, when I was reading, I completely forgot to tell you about what happened at the gym this morning. So as we're letting the market open, remember, I really, really like to let it breathe just for those first 15 minutes, see what's going on. There's just too much whipsawing back and forth. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of placing a trade right at market open, but that one, I don't know if that's like really that commonly held of a rule. It's just one of my own personal rules. So very quickly, I'll go into this story. So this morning, there I was crushing it. I got up, brushed my teeth, got ready for the gym. I'm like, it's just going to be a good day. I was telling all my affirmations. I was like, you have potential, you have potential, you have potential. And I'm just saying that. That's all. Like when I drive in the car to the gym this morning or any morning, I do not actually, like, there's no sound besides me saying, you have potential, you have potential, you have potential. There's no music, there's no anything. I just say that for about a 10, 12-minute drive. So I'm ready. Basically, what you need to know is that I'm firing at all syllables. I'm getting going, and I get to the gym, and I scan in, and I walk down the stairs, and there's 3 stair steppers. And I look at my stair stepper, the one that I've been on every single day since Sunday, and there's a person there. And I was like, oh, Matt, just calm down, just calm down. And I'm trying to calm myself down. And then I remember, I'm like, hang on, maybe you're not paranoid. It really does seem like Citadel has sent someone to screw with you to knock you off your game this early in the morning. So this guy, he's stair stepping. Right away, I just grab him. I'm like, hey, buddy. And that's a joke. I didn't grab him. I actually put him in a headlock. And I was like, are you from Citadel? And he's like, what? And I was like, are you from Citadel? I was like, are you DSS? If you don't know who DSS is, it's the current leader on this particular stair stepper. So there I have, I'm giving him a noogie. I'm like, are you DSS? What is Ken doing? Are you Vlad? What's going on? Why are you messing with my stair stepper? And obviously one thing leads to another, and they're saying that I'm not invited back to the gym and I somehow broke the rules and you're not allowed to assault people on a stair stepper. And all of it, it's just really adding up in my head. And it's frustrating. And I know I sound a little emotional, but like it really does feel as if Citadel has sent a plant, like a highly athletic plant, to screw with my stair stepper in the morning. So I don't know. If you're in the Philly area and you have like a non-Citadel, non-Robin Hood gym, it looks like I'm in the need of another, because apparently you can't do what I did, especially at 6 a.m. But I don't know. So that's where we're at on the stair stepper. But there is a positive side to this story. So the leaderboard is not interconnected between the three machines. Like the machines themselves hold their own leaderboard. So I went to a new one, and I must have went to like the noob one, because right away I'm numero uno out of the top 5. It's not that competitive of a stair stepper, the one that I went on this time, but I was so frustrated about the entire ordeal, if I'm being honest. But so the one that I need to beat DSS on, he still, I'm assuming, retains that title, but the new one, I took that spot, but it doesn't feel as fulfilling. You're great. You're very skilled. Anxiety. What's going on, Tommy's Touch? Morning, Mateo. Ortex on UWMC. It's on the New York Stock Exchange threshold list. Also, what is the fee to use Ortex? So there is a monthly fee, but I don't know that off the top of my head, but I bought the yearly subscription myself. And if you want the yearly subscription to Ortex, please email them. Say Moon Gang discount, and they'll give you a discount. You don't have to pay the full freight. If you use Moon Gang, I think you'll get a 10% discount on the yearly setup. Morning. All right. Oh, yeah. UWMC. Hang on. Ortex. Hang on. UWMC. Wait, that's the... Oh, hang on. I'm typing it in. All right, UWMC, not that high of a short interest, 12.45, so it would not hit my criteria for a FTD short squeeze play. Utilization, 72%. The cost of borrow is 2. Shares on loan, 19 million, so it tells me it's a smaller float, but not the smallest. So UWMC, for various reasons, would not hit my personal criteria for like an FTD short squeeze type of play. It might do well for other reasons, but it would be a different trading methodology. Hey, Mark, I've been watching RMO. Looks like it might be turning around. What's your opinion? RMO, I know it's Romeo. It's in the EV industry. RMO. I mean, I wouldn't say it's turning around yet. I would want to see more demand. Like one green day isn't necessarily a turnaround, but it's in the EV world. I like the EV world. I do like this gap fill. The risk isn't too bad. You could risk not much, but there's not much movement to it, not much volatility. So I just don't know if the risk is worth it. I mean, $4.50, you could risk 15 cents for a gain of $1.20. So the risk reward's there, but it's kind of a slow mover. It has potential. It's not my favorite play, but I admit, you could make money on it for sure, but it's not doesn't really spark my interest. What are your thoughts on SHIB 2.001? I mean, Sheep to 0.001. Now, that would be quite a bit of a gain. To get there, it would be reasonable that we need some sort of burn. Like they would have to burn some of them. Ooh, there we go. There we go, AMC. Over 37.16. Let's recapture just $1 a time. Just $1 a day. 38, 39, 40. We're in the low 37s right now, showing some strength. I would love for the Russell to get popping. Just the SPY is popping. SPY looks awesome. There we go, Russell. As we say it gets going. IWM, I am watching, for those who are in it, 222.50. So about 75 more cents. That's what I'm watching on IWM. So anyway, for SHIB to go to that, we would need a little bit of burning. You want the supply to go down and demand to stay the same or go up. So I don't know if we would do it at the current total circulating supply of SHIB, but also with it, SHIB is currently a cultural wildfire. I mean, it's literally trending again today on Twitter. So with it, like sometimes you have to realize when like the fundamentals of that type of stuff doesn't necessarily matter because it just has a huge supportive base. If you're in it, I hope you crush it. Whatever you win, I want you to crush it unless you're betting against me. But as I admitted this, I went into it and I wrote it off at first because I was like, oh, this is just another meme coin. I didn't think it had any special utility beyond Dogecoin. I was like, well, Doge is already bigger. There's a bigger base. I didn't see the point of it. But then as I dove into it and I made that video on it, I was like, oh, like there actually is potential here. COVID. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Kelly Ripa would never do that. COVID relief bill was 6,000 pages long and they had 2 hours to read it, sign it, scared to find out what's in there the next few years. It's that type of stuff that it drives me up a freaking wall. It's so absurd that how is that legal? Just finished transferring from Robinhood to Public, started Friday afternoon and completed this morning. Very painless process. Take a look. So it took me 1 day on Public to get money deposited to the point that I could actually purchase something. But I don't know if my transfer went through. I think I started the transfer on Monday. So I just wanted to do it to give everyone hang on, how do you check this? Yeah, so my AMC transfer from Weeble to Public has not yet occurred, but I'll let you know. But it sounds like it's taking less than a calendar week. Here we go, folks. Here we go. I like it. I like what's going on. I like it. We're moving. Look at this. We're crushing it. Otis. I knew Otis was a good omen today. Otis. I wish I could raise my debt ceiling when I get maxed out on my credit. Can we get an update on Prague? Of course. Let me first give you the Ortex numbers on it. The short interest on Prague is currently estimated to be 56%, utilization 99.96, and shares on loan of 27 million. How is the chart looking on PROG? It's kind of an indecisive day. Right now, it's the current candle is in between the high and the low of yesterday's candle. Inside day, no direction, so you have to wait for a trend. I would be very interested to see if this breaks above and closes above $1.56, the high from October 5th, because then we can kind of get that V shape, the valley, and see where it pushes from there. So my line on Prague would be $1.56. How's SDC doing today? Trying to hold above 660. This is the level I'm watching. Look for it to hold above this. Obviously, it would be nice for it to go green. And the longer it holds, I think the more it puts 736 into play. I have no Prague position. I have no SDC position. I have no BBIG position. Just trying to be super transparent about where I'm at with everything. Lord bless you, sir. If you have sneezed in your mod dungeon, I mean basement, Captain Cap here, what's going on? Hey, Matt, what are your thoughts on short-term AAPL? I thought my October 8th 149 were toast. Maybe not. Coming back. 149 is a stretch. First, I'd be watching 144.5, and then from there, I'd be watching 147.5. I think October 8th. So you're giving yourself 1 day. You would need, Brandon, of course there's always hope. You never know what's going to happen in the market. But if I were in your particular position, at least for me, the way I would manage the risk reward of it, I would probably roll that out. I don't know when you bought those, but it sounds like you got them in a little bit too short of an expiration period. Remember, when it comes to your options, whatever time you think you need, I think a beautiful rule of thumb is to give yourself double it. Like, it's just, I see too many people getting beat up on theta decay when it comes to options trading. And I'm a fan of options trading. I love options trading. I'm not telling you to not do it. I'm just saying, I think people forget about how impactful both theta and vega are, and they only focus on the price of the underlying asset. But with all that being said, I am long on Apple in my own like long-term retirement account. A GME share transfer from Weeble to public went through and I bought, and it brought down my average. Not complaining, still waiting. Mason, it actually didn't. It didn't bring down your average. That's just more of when you transfer it, you buy something. Let's say you buy a house, and let's say your house costs $100,000, and whatever, it's just listed on Zillow, and then you list it on Redfin or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter if it says you bought it at $110,000 or $90,000, because for you still spent that money. Look at, for your overall P&L, it's all about like the money that left your account. Who cares what a brokerage tells you you got it at? And you see those issues when you're transferring. And that's why they let you edit it. Like when the brokerage is telling you your cost basis, it's literally just like a nice UI UX thing to have. So you can be like, oh, this is how much I'm up, how much I'm down. But that doesn't mean it's actually right. You executed a trade to initially create the position at a very particular value, and that's how much you paid. It doesn't matter what your brokerage is telling you after a transfer, like the new brokerage. It doesn't actually matter whatsoever. So if it increases or decreases your alleged average, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much money you truly spent. If you spent $40, but I just told you spent $20, that doesn't mean you actually spent $20 then. Speaking of EDs, do you think stocks like NEO, XPeng, and are risky now due to China pressures? Thanks again. I do think they're risky. Any of these, like basically ADRs, such as NEO, BABA, XPeng, like all of those, they're inherently more risky just because there's political tensions between the U.S. and China, and also they're just less regulated. They're not audited to the same degree that U.S.-based companies are, and that's why we get things like Luckin Coffee, that whole debacle. But also a positive note is I talked about it a little bit about like this trade deal and the tariffs between US and China. So it sounds like they had their first round of talks, and China reported that it went well and it was constructive. So that's a kind of a positive thing. It doesn't seem like the US China talks, at least related to tariffs, are like devolving or anything like that. It does seem like we got some positive developments. All right, people talking about ATER. You kind of need this one to get back above 9, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you're very much wanted to recapture about 915 and close above it. Currently in a bull flag, perfect downward channel. Look for it to break this trend line. Until then, the bears are in control. I would watch this trend line on ATER. So today, a close above like 930, 940 would be maybe potentially an official switch of trend. Is Matt a robot? The last time I checked, no. But I don't know. The jury's still out on it. People are talking about CEI. In fact, people are screaming CEI. CEI, $1.38. This one particularly scares me just because I don't know what side of the argument is right. I see, when I read about it, when whoever I'm reading, I find them to be convincing. If it's bullish, I'm like, oh, wow, no, CEI got inappropriately hit down. I think it's coming back. And then I read some of the short reports, and I'm like, is the CFO a fake human being? So CEI, whenever I get confused like that and I don't feel super confident, I just don't trade it. If you're not overly confident, I don't see the point in throwing money at it. Let's average up that like button. I appreciate that, Sean. Yeah, folks, if you haven't already, I would. It just helps me out the algorithm. If you haven't, if you could annihilate that like button. Don't forget to join up with the Moon Gang if you want. Both liking and subscribing are completely free. It does help me out, just like with the engagement. It gets this posted to other people. Like I said, it's free. If you're watching on Twitch, which just had a huge data leak, so maybe I shouldn't be using it. Don't forget to follow. And then if you're on Rumble, I would appreciate that Royal Rumble button and same follow there. But all that stuff, liking, subbing, it's free. It does help me out. And it's honestly the only thing I ask for. Any one that goes above and beyond that, it makes my heart sing. It truly does. The only thing I ask for the effort and the whatever I'm doing with all this content, just to get it out to more people, because I mean, of course I think it's valuable, but I'm the one making it, so why would I not think it's valuable? But thank you for the support. It's awesome. Matt's not a robot, he's an ape. Well, I mean, I guess a robotic ape. Both could happen. Right now we are seeing some strength. I'm loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. The SPY gap up, holding. I know it looks a little weak right now, but hang on, it's just a breather. Like both of these gapped up. When you're really looking at it, don't consider the little bit of red you're seeing. You have to look at where we closed yesterday. Imagine if we opened up there and like we had the rip to this level. If anything, I think this is just like a very common run-of-the-mill technical breather. Even with AMC, I mean, we closed all the way over at the 36s. Like we're doing good right now, folks. I'm liking the bullishness. Let's just hope that it sustains. Let's hope that this technical breather to the downside doesn't develop any momentum. We're just looking for a basic breather, the RSI to cool off, the MACD to cool off, and then basically for it to base at a new higher low and then move off of that. My charting has improved from reading books combined with watching your streams. Thanks, mate, from the UK. Shout out K-Dog. Hey, if I could give you a suggestion, if you're like, okay, I feel confident with the technical structures that like Matt has been like kind of preaching about, I would say the next thing for you to do, and I kind of want to start integrating this more in my own streams because I think it's super, super important. Pick up a book or two or watch a couple lectures on volume analysis. You want to start using your charting structures and then overlay it with a volume profile, and you can get a lot of information of where the market makers are hiding, where the supply and demand is hiding. So if you're starting to feel confident with like just more of the rudimentary technical structures that I've been talking about, I would say like the next level would be all about like, okay, how does that relate to volume analysis? If you want, I could get a book that like, I mean, okay, I'll call it 2.5. There's 2.5 volume books I really, really like. But my favorite one, I'll post it just so everyone can check it out. But if you're not much of a reader, there's a lot of good YouTube videos on that type of stuff. Morning, Matt. Can you check out GOTU when you have a moment? Thanks. GOTU. What is this stock? Miscellaneous Commercial Services. It looks like it just started trading. It looks like it also might be an ADR. I would want a bit more of a chart, but from the little bit I have, I'm kind of seeing a W. It's at resistance. If it keeps pushing from there, there might be more upside, but as of now, the risk reward is not favorable. You're risking 275 and you're kind of like very, very close to resistance. But if it gets running, that could be a different story. Is ATER a good short squeeze play? I mean, everyone might define their own methodology a little bit differently. For me, one of the big things missing right now is the price action follow through. So if I were watching ATR, which I mean, I guess we are, the one thing I would really be watching are the exponential moving average, like the 4 and the 9. I don't like how the price is below it. I would want to see it recapture the 4 and then the 9. And then I'd be a bit more excited. So like right here, you see how it was riding on top of these short time frame exponential moving averages, then it dropped below it, then it kind of got back above it. Well, we've been below it ever since the 28th, which is exactly where it broke down from this technical structure. So I would want to see it recapture that. And then in the moment it does, there's a good chance that we would have a bull flag breakout as well. So that's what I would be watching on ATER. Matt, can you take a look at D's? Don't. Shout out Jackie. Jackie gets feisty when I keep him locked up in the basement a little bit too long. He's like, 15 minutes of sunlight isn't enough per week. And I'm like, if you keep acting like that, I'm going to drop it down to 10. And then Seraphim comes in and she's like, please, we love our 15 minutes. Don't mess it up for us, Jackie. It gets crazy down here in the mod basement, the mod dungeon. Morning, sir. Thanks for all you do. Thoughts on FAMI? See cup and handle on the 15-minute. All right, hang on. I think IWM, did I lock it in? Yes. All right, I locked in a cool 1K. Nice. I am good then. Exactly why I tweeted out this morning. Exactly why. Well, it looks like the last round of selling didn't last long. Looking to play some of these sweet gap fills to the upside. That's what I did. I was looking at the main gap I was paying attention to was the SPY. And this is more of like a futures related thing. There's just a bit it's easier to make money more quickly, in my opinion, on the Russell. So I played it through the Russell instead, but I was really paying attention to the gap in the SPY. But I tweeted it out, played it, just locked in $1,000. Bada bing, bada boom. That was through the futures market, though. I did not play the ETF IWM. I played the futures contract RTY, and it's currently on the Z. They roll over. Futures is a crazy world. I like it, though. Someone was asking about the cup and handle. So I see what you're seeing. You're seeing the cup and handle. The only issue with it is this handle is pre and post market, so it's naturally a bit lower volume. So yes, I do agree with you that I myself am seeing the structure cup handle, but I think it's a little bit of a weaker one just because it occurred in pre and post market. On FAMI, what you're watching for is for it to break above 40 cents is where you might really start seeing some of the demand like flex its muscles. What up from National Bend, Oregon? Wounded Warriors here in the fight. My man, Matt, thanks for all you do. What are your thoughts on NEO and WTER? So I know NEO actually just got an upgrade. I believe it was from JP Morgan, but it might have been from someone else. But NEO gapping up on an analyst upgrade. So NEO, I do like it. It's probably my third favorite EV manufacturer, with Tesla being number one and Lucid being number two. But I still like it. It still makes my list. In the short term, you would want to see it recapture 37 and then 38. So I'd be watching 37 to 38. And then after that, you do have an interesting gap fill opportunity at 40.59. But just be careful right now because it's created a gap fill down to 34.16. So the very, very short term, I'm a little hesitant about it. But the medium to long term, I do like it. But in terms of long term, I do like Tesla and Lucid better. And with it, NEO is a good company, but you just the pressures, the tensions between U.S. and China, even if it's a great company, like you don't know if they're going to stop the trading of ADRs. You don't know what the current political regime in the U.S. or China is going to do and how they're going to fight with each other. There's just various things you have to consider in this situation, and that's why it kind of bumps it down in my list of preferences. Can you take a look at Ortex on PROG and let us, PROG, we just did that actually. The short interest is 56%, utilization 99.96, shares on loan 27.5 million. The current cost to borrow on average is 205%, which is sky high. Shout out Joe Miami. Could you take a look at Tilray? Their earnings report came out today. I expected a better morning. The report shows 43% up year over year. But remember with it, it's all about expectations. If everyone was expecting that, maybe they were expecting more. What if they were expecting 50%? Just because something's growing and it was reported in the earnings announcement doesn't mean you're going to have a bullish reaction. It's all about Wall Street and retail public's expectations of what the growth should be. The stock goes up if it beats expectations. It goes down if it does not succeed expectations. So it's not, was it growing or not growing? It's how did it do relative to the world's expectations? Obviously, it looks like they were expecting more, maybe, or maybe they had poor guidance or something like that. You would have to dive into like what was actually said. But just so you know, if it breaks below 1050, there's a gap fill down to 950. At 950 on Tilray, I think that would be a beautiful buy opportunity. Whereas the AMC is currently trading at 37.80. We're watching 38 key psychological level. What was that other one? WT. Hang on. What was this? What was? Where was it? WT. I'm missing it. Shoot. Shouting out Caesar. Can you day trade on public? And is there after hours trading? I have E-Trade and Weeble. I got Weeble for a second position in options. You cannot trade after hours on public, which honestly, I don't think anyone should be trading after hours. It's one thing if you're like panicking and you're trying to get out. But remember, when you have pre and post market trading, there's no NBBO, the national best bid and offer, which kind of regulates market makers and what's going on in off exchange trading, such as market makers, the internalizers, and then also dark pools. Those rules don't really apply to post market or pre market trading. So if you have concerns about manipulation and poor price discovery and poor price execution, it is worse in extended hours trading, and which is one of the many reasons that I never trade in extended hours trading. The other reason is it's super low volume. So any of the price movements, when it's low volume, I think of it as low confirmation. So I don't really care too much. I care a little bit because it could give you technical levels of support and resistance. But other than that, I'm not a proponent of trading in extended hours. But the more you know. WTER was the one I was missing. The Alkaline Water Company. Looks like it broke out. It was a fake out breakout, and then it reaffirmed. Beverages non-alcoholic. I would just be watching 170, and at that point, you would be risking roughly 30 cents. You would hope for a breakout of $2, but I'd watch 170 on WTER. Shout out Daniel. Thoughts on any? Any will do better. Whoa, any is looking good right now. So this is one where it's kind of messy with its own short interest, but it's definitely being shorted. We have a nice technical push around 7. Any gets very interesting around 750, 760. Rejection. If it can overtake this area of supply, which could happen, because remember, any is another crypto miner. So there's a good argument for it. If crypto keeps pushing, any might have some like pretty crazy moves. So any, I don't have any right now, but with it, watch the 7 to 760 area, clear demand, and then past that, also pay attention to is Bitcoin and Ethereum continuing to rip. Any, especially with crypto being like super lively right now, has quite a bit of potential. Got a $9 call for October 15th on BBIG. It was 340 strike, now 20. What's the best thing to do? That was my first call last month. It sounds like you lost a huge percentage. You could take your $20. You could sell it. I mean, you could YOLO it, I suppose, and you could hope that something magical happens very soon with BBIG. But even this breakout, this trendline breakout, is now getting smacked. Even on the news at the acquisition, it sounds like you might be losing quite a bit of that value on your premium. Is anyone else having issues getting on crypto.com? I'm getting an error message trying to log in. It was just in. So speaking of crypto here, let me throw this above my head. If you're trying to get in on this insanity, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, Sheeb, any of these major ones, I mean, it's super easy. If you're in the US, if you're out, there are other options. You just download Voyager. It's a phone app. You download it. You put in this code, MAT21. It's free to download, free to use. You're not going to pay like a monthly fee or anything like that. And as soon as you trade $100 of any crypto, just 100, you get an extra $25 of Bitcoin. So even if you just want to do $100, you have a 25% inherent risk built in. You could just download it. To me, I love the UI. I love the UX. Very, very easy. It's pinned to the top of chat. Free crypto, no monthly subscription fee. It has Doge, it has Shiba, it has Bitcoin, it has Ethereum, it has Cardano. It has most of the main ones that you're going to possibly care about. Here's the full list. I find it to be easier to use than crypto.com, at least of now. So the main ones I end up using are Coinbase, Gemini, and Voyager with, and I do think that Voyager has like the best interface. Like when I'm trying to understand what I own, what I'm at, my percentage gains or losses, I would strongly argue Voyager has the most consumable UI. CEI, short interest. The short interest on CEI. Why is this not coming up? Camber. The short interest is 49.91%, and the shares on loan is around 62 million, a little over 62 million as of now. Hang on. Could you guys let me know in chat, is the volume a bit too low? Like, do you want me to turn this up? If I can figure out how to turn it up. Is this better? That was pretty loud. Is this any better? Like this voice level for everyone? Yeah, too low. It's fine. How's this? Testing. 1, 2, 3. My name is Matt. I like to balance the tightrope between narcissism and low self-esteem. All right, I think we got it. I'm trying to come in at -6 decibels. All right, let me see if there's any breaking news. Good. Sing for us. All right, so the Russell's still pushing. I'm out of that now. That was just I mean, obviously I could have held it a bit longer. I didn't know. I just thought the run was crazy. Oh man. Is SPY just going to be a layup of a gap fill? Look at this. Talking about gap fills. Folks, it's happening. 441.90. It's still, I don't know. Ever since we saw this gap, I said, right here, this gap between the 27th and 28th, I said one of these days we will have the opportunity to make money playing it up here. I said it pretty much every day since the 28th. Every trading day, I was like, this is going to be a gap. This is going to be a gap. This is going to be a gap. And now we're filling said gap. And it's just a layup of a play. Like whenever I see gaps on the S&P 500, I just think, oh, I'm making money. And now you could argue, Matt, if you're so excited about gaps, doesn't that mean that we can now make money on the downside? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So this is the current gap that we could make, and this would be more of betting against the SPY or betting on volatility. But remember, it takes time. This gap fill, I don't know if it's going to get filled today, but it was still, I mean, it took a bit. With this, if they take care of the debt ceiling and vote on it, I'm going to look for it to go up. And if I really had to throw out a prediction, the fact that they're pushing off the debt ceiling issue to December, I think that's setting us up for an end of year showdown between our political factions. And that showdown might be the thing that causes this gap to get filled, especially if we start showing more strength in the short term. If the SPY gets above 445, there's probably a good argument that we're going back up to the all-time high. One of these days, the SPY will fill this gap. And if we're showing a lot of strength in the short term, I think it could lean to strength in the medium term, and then we're going to be eyeing up the political showdown at the end of the year with like the debt ceiling debacle 2.0. It just feels like they're kicking the can down the road. And when they do that type of stuff, well, we can make money both ways. We called out the gap up. We called out like just the tensions between Evergrande, the debt ceiling, the FOMC at this. This was an easy down play, and now it seems like it's becoming an easy up play. We need to focus on AMC. We do, but also that doesn't mean you can't talk about other things. You don't talk about the overall market, only AMC. Like, come on, folks. Like, I think there needs to be a bit more reality and maturity within this group. Like, it's okay to talk about other things. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean we're not talking about AMC or GME. We talk about them. They're up on the chart. I do the breakdowns. It's a-okay to talk about other things. People are asking about MMAT. MMAT, let's see how the chart's looking. This one is not like a straightforward play. This is the one you have to dive into whatever's going on with the acquisition of TRCH and how that led to special shares, which represent a special dividend payment. This is one that's not as straightforward as the price action, the alleged short interest. This one is a bit more of in the world of complexities. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. I'm just saying if you're in it, you're going to have to do a little bit more deep diving. Recently, it's been selling off, down. Currently at support. I would want it to hold this support. So what I would look for personally is for it to exceed one of these previous day highs. So like 523, 529, something like that. I have no MMAT position. I have no horse in this particular race, but I would very much want it to hold 484. If it doesn't hold 484, there's a good shot you're watching a sell-off all the way to 4 then. So watch the support and look for a V-shaped bounce. Where do I see the next resistance on SPY? If it breaks through that level, what's next? Also looked at BT, SPY. So the gap fill up to 442, and then from 442, I'd be watching somewhere in the mid 440s, 444. But first, you have to watch 442. A gap fill can easily act as support or resistance, so that's what I would be watching in the near term. And it looks like we're going to get it. I would be kind of surprised if we don't get it today. I mean, the SPY is pushing, especially if we get the news that the Senate officially voted and approved. It seems like it's going that way, but if we get the breaking news, like Senate approves debt ceiling suspension until December of 2021, if we see that headline, I'm very much confident. You can never be 100% confident, but I think the odds would be greatly in favor of this doing the gap fill almost instantaneously. BT, isn't that another minor? I thought it was another minor. Maybe I'm confused on it. It did a gap fill, talking about gap fills to whatever this is, overshot it just a little bit, bouncing off of that. At this point, you're just looking for that to hold and go from there. But if it continues to sell, you have some support at 10 flat, and then from there 850. But I Bit Digital, I think this is another one related to crypto. So I mean, if you're looking at Riot, Mara, any BT, all of those, if you continue to see strength in crypto, there's a good chance you're going to continue to see strength in the equities related to them. Did my DD on WTER just like you. Looks like it has huge potential. Can you check it out? I have not done DD on WTER. I looked at the chart, but I don't know much about the company, so I don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction. Milk Duds. Some a-hole choked me on the stair step for this morning. Can you turn up the trading volume while you're at it, Matt? Shout out, Blake. I wish I could. ZEV is an EV play, a high short percentage. They continue to acquire billion-dollar contracts with a market cap of 600 million. Check it out, please. Okay, I could look into it, but also just remember, the high short percentage, I feel like too many people now are hunting for short squeeze plays, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good methodology. ZEV might be a good candidate. Is it on the threshold list? What's the price action? What's the cost to borrow? There's like various other things I would want to check off besides just saying, oh, it has a high short interest and they get all these contracts. Is it carrying a lot of debt? Like I would need to know more about it. And that's what my entire video about SDC was yesterday, to give more people information of SDC, which is not holding 660 right now. It's not carrying debt, but it's also not a net profitable company. Year over year, they are losing money, but it does seem to be improving, which is interesting. But some of these plays, you have to just dive more into it. I fear that there's too many new apes, especially, who are like, oh, this is just highly shorted, or they just see people talking about it on social media, and that's like their DD. They're like, oh, I see a lot of people talking about it. It has a high short interest. I'm not going to buy. That is like 1% of the DD that you should be doing. There's so much more you need to be diving into besides just like seeing people like promote things on social media and being like, okay, I double checked it has a high short interest. That is not enough. That is by far not enough. It takes way, way more time. And maybe you're just like the luckiest person ever, and like just whatever you end up doing ends up making you money. And like, I congratulate you, and I'm jealous of you because I do not have that type of luck. But it's an okay starting point, but you got to do more, and you should want to do more because it's your money. It's your hard-earned money. You shouldn't just be like willy-nilly, just be like, oh, I saw this on some random Twitter account. Can I transfer my crypto from Weeble to Voyager? You cannot. And that's because when you buy crypto on things like Robinhood and Weeble, it's not a wallet. I know that they've both announced that they're coming out with a wallet, but that doesn't mean they have a wallet yet. So you cannot transfer because you don't actually truly own the crypto when it comes to things like Robinhood and Weeble. Those are definitely stock and option brokerages. If you're going to talk about crypto, just get a crypto brokerage. Do it right. Do Voyager, do Coinbase, do Gemini, do Binance, do KuCoin, do Kraken. There's so many very, very good, high-performing, well-respected crypto brokerages. There's no reason to not be on one. What do you think about PROG? Why is it dropping when finished the dilution yesterday? I didn't know that it was actually announced that they finished it. I guess I thought on the announcement it would have definitely started moving. I get maybe something's in the deal. It sounds like you have to dive into it of what's going on. I haven't been following truly the narrative of Prague. I know the short interest. I've been doing some of the technicals. I know those other related data points, but I haven't been diving into the details of its current narrative and the storyline with the dilution. I guess people who are in it maybe didn't like the dilution. The fact that they're making it a higher float stock, that does make it harder to move. That's just a theory though. But also this thing can move like crazy, so I wouldn't count it out. I would say pay attention to the support at $1.30, $1.20. So you have support relatively close by. There is a gap below it all the way to 108. Maybe it wants to fill this gap and bounce off of that. Or on the other hand, you're looking for the breakout of 156. But as for that's a very good question. Generally, especially what we've seen in 2021, when companies announce that their dilution is complete, we do generally see a bullish reaction. So it's interesting that bucks the trend, but it's also a good lesson in the fact that nothing is ever guaranteed. Like there's so many people, social media creators, who are like trying to guarantee stuff, and it's so, I guess, like disgusting to me. There's no such thing as 100 or 0% in life, and especially in the stock market. The stock market, in terms of probability, very much operates in the realm of 1 to 99%. Things could be very likely, they could be very unlikely, but nothing is ever, ever, ever guaranteed. And anyone who tells you something's guaranteed, they don't know what they're talking about. They're going for likes, they're going for views, they're going for upvotes. If someone says something has to happen when it comes to the world of stock market, It's as simple as they literally don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how to make that more clear. Public just announced crypto. Yes, it did. With it, I don't know, like it was just announced like literally today or late last night. So I don't know if they have functioning wallets or how it does. I use Public for stock. This is a great way to trade on exchange. It's a great way to avoid market makers. It's a great way to avoid payment for order flow. It's a great way to avoid dark pools. Public, it's free to sign up. It's free to trade. You get up to $70 of free stock when you sign up. I think everyone should sign up, or at the minimum, everyone should be trading, at least be doing their duty to attempt to trade on lit exchanges. At this point in time, I don't really see a point in trading on Robinhood or Weeble, or really any place that you can't route your own orders, or if you're not routing it, at least be like have knowledge that it's going to a lit exchange. I just don't see the point anymore. And just to clarify, I got some pissy comment yesterday that they're like, he talks about Public, but then he's showing Weeble. This is not Weeble. This, just so everyone knows, this is TradingView. Public is Apex Clearinghouse. That is wrong. JRAS 221 Public uses Apex Clearing as its clearing broker, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just who their clearing broker is. Clearing brokers have the ability to clear wherever they want. They could go to dark pools. They could go to market makers. They could also go to exchanges. But Public, it's incorrect to say that Public is Apex Clearing. Public uses Apex as its clearing broker. But if you look at the documentation, just go to Public. If you Google Public brokerage, PFOF, or payment for order flow, you can find the documentation that they send your orders to lit exchanges. And they even say, e.g., New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ. You pay a percentage when you buy crypto on Public. Yeah, so like I said, I really don't know much about Public and crypto. I have not traded it. It was just announced. I need to dive into it myself. So I'm hesitant to speak about how good it is, how good it isn't, or anything like that, because I just don't know. It just came out. I don't know the finer details of it. Death and taxes are 100%. Shout out, Doug. The only thing guaranteed in the market is Matt losing money in Tesla. All right. Someone said I missed it. I was notified you can trade on Public now. Yeah, but I still don't know if it's an actually, like, you can trade crypto on Robinhood and Weeble, but you shouldn't because you never actually have ownership. I don't know if Public's in that realm or not. I need to find out. I need to dive into it. All right. Someone said that I missed their Duck Lord. Savas IV must be going crazy. My calls are up even though the share is down. Massive cup and handle. I'm yelling some shares. Shout out El Randall. If you're up on options and it's moving in the opposite way, it's probably a solid time for you to take those gains. What does this mean? It will only twitch when pulled by retail trader toy quality. I don't know what that means, Ryan. Kenneth C. Griffin. Hey, Morty. Feeling cute. Might poop my day per today. Shout out, Ken C. Ken C. Griff. Clove long-term, not the biggest fan of Clove long-term. Woodward. I think there's many better options. Like, I don't like this idea of bending over backwards to try to make a play work. I like want the play to scream at me that like you need to be in this right now. With the debt ceiling in 12 days affect the market, you think the screw AMC can look at Genius and Joby long-term plays my dad likes. The debt ceiling issue is being resolved though. It's not 12 days. It sounds like they're pushing it to December. Will it screw AMC? That's a tough call. I get this question a lot. Will an overall market sell-off and or crash help or hurt AMC? I think there's an interesting argument for both ways. For anyone who's telling you that, like, oh, a sell-off is great for AMC, once again, they don't know what they're talking about. It depends on who is going to sell first. Are you going to have people like BlackRock and Vanguard get out of their AMC position? Because if so, it drops. Will that happen before or after the shorts involved with AMC get in or out? It's a race to the finish line, and you don't know. Seeing how in the short term AMC's beta has been more related to SPY in the short term, I would say that you specifically don't want it, but you shouldn't want to crash in the fact that, like, that's just bad for the world. You don't want the stock market to crash. I'm kind of curious. Is there like a particular account, like a Twitter account or a Reddit account or something? Like, who's pushing the narrative that a market sell-off would somehow be good for AMC? Because like I guess like over the past 2 weeks, I hear it way more, and it just seems like to me like it's come out of left field, and it hasn't come across like my account. Like, it hasn't been like apparent to me who's like pitching that. But it's just nothing I would hope for. Can you give me your opinion on VYGR? Do you think it's back over 10? Pfizer gave them like 600 mil. I read somewhere Pfizer may buy. Wait, VYGR, isn't that Voyager? People are just saying Reddit. Yeah, I would be careful with that thought process. I'd be very, very careful. I mean, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you this right here. All right, what day? Let's just show August. August, the end of July. Okay, so this is the SPY as in the overall market on the left. This is AMC on the right. Do you think that they're directly correlated, as in they kind of move together, as in a positive beta value? Or do you think that they're inversely correlated? To me, it seems like when the market goes up, AMC goes up. When the market goes down, AMC goes down. So, I mean, this is the daily chart from basically mid-July. Let me zoom out a little here. August. Let me just get it set up so we can really, like, I don't know. Like, to say that these are inversely correlated, look, up, down, up, down. Why would we be hoping for a market crash when over the past 2-3 months, they've been directly correlated? Like, this is the SPY on the left. Here's the S&P 500, overall U.S. market. Here's AMC. They both go up. They both go down. I don't know. I'm not seeing an inverse correlation. And when people are pitching, I'm like, oh, we want a market crash. Why would we hope for that? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Welcome to the world of social media. GNUS and JOBY. JOBY. What is this one? Oh, this is that flight one. It's kind of a new player on the block. It's definitely like a highly innovative vertical takeoff and landing kind of like aircraft taxi service. So I like what they're doing. The price action isn't there. This just looks like an EKG. So I'm not seeing a nice trend, but the company seems really cool. I would want to dive into their fundamentals. But in terms of the technicals, like this is a messy chart right now. Market crash equals less liquidity for hedge funds equals margin calls. Yeah, that could also impact Vanguard and BlackRock and force them to sell AMC. It seems crazy to me to argue that like somehow a market crash would be good. I just don't get the sentiment behind it. GNUS, I would want it's clearly in a bear trend. I would want it to break this trend line and get out. And then right now, though, the bears are in the control. Lower highs, lower lows. You would need this to reverse trend. Are people seriously saying Sheeb crash? Seriously? That's so dramatic. It's still at 28.6. When we first started really talking about it, it was at 19. This is not a crash. Calm down, calm down. Debt ceiling deal reach extended until December. Do we have that? So as of 10/19, the most recent update, Senate Majority Leader Schumer says hopes for passage on debt ceiling. Are we getting the update that it was actually passed? The market doesn't seem, it sounds like they're hopeful, and it does really sound like it's going to be passed, but I don't know if it's official. Matt, you're being so sassy today. Probably, yeah. I think I'm getting extremely frustrated with other creators, whether that's on Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, whatever your favorite social media is. I think there's a lot of people out there who either intentionally or unintentionally are leading people to slaughter. And if that happens, that gives the argument of people like Representative David Scott a stronger argument to basically shut down anyone who wants to talk about markets and finance in a open forum. There's a lot of people who are extremely new to the market. They haven't done their DD. They refuse to do their DD, and they just spread falsehoods, whether they intentionally know it's incorrect or they just don't even, like, I guess they don't even know what they don't know type of an issue. It's bad. It's a bad scenario. And it frustrates me because I feel, I guess I feel like defensive of the community. I really do. Whether the apes who like me, don't like me, or feel indifferent to me. If you're in the community, I feel like a special sense of, like, I guess, protection in a certain sense. And I just get like pissed off to no end that I feel people are willing to care more about their individual brand and spread falsehoods and lies and just generally be stupid, because I think it could be damaging because you never know who's going to hear it. And then that person who hears it might bet money that they shouldn't be betting. And then if that causes them to blow up, I just don't think people are cautious enough with what they do or with what they say. And yeah, I find it incredibly frustrating. Hey, Matt, what would you give a beginner choosing between a cash account and a margin account? I like a margin account, but that's just because I'm a little bit of a like active trader. So, but even with that, I mean, it depends on how you define active. And I don't know if you have above or below 25,000. If you're above 25,000, definitely use a margin account. There is an argument to use a cash account if you're below 25,000. I don't know like where you're starting at. But I don't know. I just find it easier to use margin. What are your thoughts on BDRBF? The fact that it has 5 letters tells me that it's trading off exchange on the gray market, the OTC market, so I wouldn't mess with it. Hey, Mork, selling my AMC today to buy a stair stepper. Heard it was on the Matt Kohrs watch list. Duck legs for massive gains. I'm not gonna lie, my legs are starting to feel like jelly. JH, horrible thing to push. Oh, I don't know what he is or isn't pushing, but what else do we have? I got 7,000 cleared to trade already, loaded up on AMC and Sheeb. Any suggestions on a good short play to put it on? A short play? Whenever I think short, the first thing that always pops in my head is Robinhood. Robinhood, I'm waiting to short this again. I mean, initially I made some nice money. I probably could have made more. I took it off my radar a little bit. Right now, I'm looking for Robinhood to break below 40. That's the one I think of. I have currently no active short positions like whatsoever. If something like really jumps out to me and I find interesting, I'll let all of you know. But this is always one when I'm like, when people are like, oh, like what should we short? I always think Robinhood. It's not at the level I would love it to be at right now. Like I wouldn't short it at these levels personally. But when you have just like basically a piece of crap company, like to me, that's like a good thing, like a good way to make money betting against something. Baba is ripping. I wonder if it's Baba is one of the most undervalued stocks in the entire stock market, and it relates to political tensions between the US and China and tensions between China and Jack Ma, the founder of Baba. It's having a good day. This is, I mean, but it's been getting hit. Like I would want to see way more demand come from this. It has a lot of price to make back up on Baba. Why are people so dramatic? They said Sheeb is burning. Sheeb is where it was at like this morning. It's currently trading right where it was at 4 a.m. this morning. I think people need, this is, I don't know. I guess one of the aspects of the community that I wish would be improved is we just have people who are so highly dramatic and everything is so emotionally charged, and it does end up freaking other people out. It's not crashing. If you're listening to this right now and you're reading all these chats, if someone's like, it's crashing, it's not crashing. They don't know what a crash means. There is a technical definition of a crash. There's a technical definition of a bear market, all of that. Seeing a red bar that undoes the gain of what, the last 7 hours, that's not a crash. Hey, any thoughts on a 43 call expire 1029? Thank you for being available for us to ask questions. Thanks, Mark. Ian, I'm assuming you're talking about AMC. AMC, I like the volume. I like the volatility returning, but I'd want to see in another day or two. I don't want it to be like kind of a volatility increase fake out. So I see what you're saying. I kind of like the price level. I would maybe I would be paying attention to the November monthlies. If I were like, with options, please give yourself enough time. I think that's one of the biggest issues we're really seeing is people are playing options that are way too close to expiration. So with it, I mean, I don't know if I'd be paying attention to anything before the November monthlies. Can you look into TRCH special dividend? It's now listed as MMTLP and appears to be trading as a penny stock, yet there is no best bid and ask. I'm not too up to date on it. I was reading a little bit, but the person I know who's really been tracking that story and that narrative is going to be Trey's Subway Cup on Twitter. And then if you want to know specifically more about things like PROG or even BBIG, I highly recommend checking out True Demon. You can follow him on Twitter. And then if you happen to be in the Moon Gang Discord, once in a while, he graces us with his presence. So you could talk to him through there. How do I transfer my Weeble to public? So basically you just go into public and you hit transfer, and then you have to give it your Weeble account number. It's pretty easy. It took me like 5 minutes. Imagine Ryan Miller paying money to Matt to get him to talk crap about AMC. Silly kid, not a dead cat. Who is Ryan? Is that one that I just skipped over? Probably. I mean, if people like say dumb things and are trying to just get me to like say something that I don't believe, I'm not going to do it. With that whole $600 transaction tracking by Janet Yellen really is upsetting to hear, especially after the Pandora Papers. Yeah, so the concept of tracking $600, do we realistically think, who do you think that's damaging? Do you think that's damaging the run-of-the-mill person, maybe someone a little bit closer to the poverty line? Or do you think that's like impacting a billionaire, multi-millionaire, rich person? This concept of trying to track such a low amount, but then they do it under the guise of like, we're taking down the rich, they're gonna pay their fair share. And I was like, what are you talking about then? Why did you name $600? Like, to me, there's a big disconnect of how they're pitching it and what they're actually trying to get through. And honestly, to me, it seems like it's going to be more problematic for more of your average day person rather than the world's elite who's evading taxes. Like, I just don't get it. Hey, Matt, bought 5 calls on S for strike price 60 this morning. What are your thoughts on S? For 60? I mean, I hope you got it super early this morning and you're already up. I think it's a good play. Your risk is a bit wide. You're risking about $8. I don't know your expiration date, but if you gave yourself time, I think it's a solid play. What do you think about GREE? I think the company, the leadership team is highly immoral. I think they should go to jail. I think they should go to prison. What they did with SPRT should be investigated, in my humble, non-legal opinion. The deal that went down with GREE was catastrophic, and with it being such a crappy leadership team, such a crappy deal that happened with SPRT, I don't know. Like, just be careful. If this goes below 23.50, there could be a notable amount of additional downside. This whole thing with Greenidge Generation Holdings, who consumed SPRT, it was straight up bullshit. And what I know about it, I don't know how it's, or maybe it is being investigated. Maybe they're just building a case or something. Did Adam Aaron, someone is saying, Adam Aaron. A big weekend coming for AMC on Saturday, October 9th. This Saturday, AMC features a new fabulous James Bond movie, a second weekend of Venom, the Fury Wilder heavyweight boxing match live from Las Vegas, and the Metropolitan Opera live from New York City. That, my friends, is something for everyone. Bullish. That's bullish. I was reading a report that there's a good shot James Bond alone could have $100 million weekend, which would be phenomenal. And remember, from like the statistical breakdown that I did for a lot of you, the best individual day to get in on AMC, if you were looking from like a morning to the next morning, it's Friday to Monday. And I compared it like Friday to Monday, Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yada, yada, yada. The best time to be bullish on AMC for like a 1 day, like opening to opening hold, is Friday to Monday. And my theory on it is because of people are returning to the theaters. It seems like every other weekend, every 3 weekends, we get a new like best record setting for the pandemic. It's just on the up and up and up. So that's my theory for it. But the stats are saying the best day to get in, the best like 1 day hold is a Friday to Monday. That's like the strongest time to buy is a Friday morning. And the weakest time to buy is a Wednesday morning. All right. IWM taking a little bit of a breather. SPY taking a little bit of a breather. Look at, no way did I hit this perfectly. I was off by a cent on IWM. This is why I love technicals. A lot of people are like, why would you do that? Technicals don't matter. The line isn't real. The price is fake. What are you talking about? Look how awesome. Look at it, got rejected right here at first, came down, broke out, went right up to the next level of resistance. This, if you're looking at it, I don't want anyone watching to think that this is some sort of special skill that takes forever to master and you have to dedicate and like basically like consume charts all day, every day. Obviously that's going to help, but these levels are legitimately just looking at previous levels that it's been rejected at or found support at. So I don't want anyone to think it's special. How did I draw out these two levels? I was just like, oh, rejection, 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 a little bit of a rejection. Oh, the one on top of it, rejection, rejection, broke through. Like I literally just look at the previous levels that it finds and runs into a wall of supply, or it comes down and runs into a wall of demand and bounces off of. It's nothing more or less. I don't want anyone to think that it's like overcomplicated and people who know how to do technicals, it's like some special skill set that you're not going to learn and you have to pay all this money for that course to possibly learn about technicals. No. Not at all. If you're watching this right now, if you have the ability to log into YouTube, search Matt Kohrs, and click on this live stream, you do have the mental aptitude to be able to do technical analysis. Don't let people overstate the difficulty associated with it. People like love to romanticize about like how special and big their brain is. I can do this. I'm a trader. I have technical analysis. I can look at patterns in a chart. Like that's what our brain is wired to do. If you're a human, your brain is literally biologically wired to search for patterns. That's what the human brain, that's how we have like evolved. Like that's how we've lived. Noticing patterns is one of the most innate aspects of being a human. It comes very, very natural to a large percentage of the entire species. And you can start applying that type of stuff to the market, and a lot of people pick it up very, very naturally, and it's for a reasonable, like it makes sense. It's very reasonable of why that plays out. I have 245 shares of GREE down 1,800. Would you sell? I mean, I would watch that support. Like it could bounce off of it, or it might track back and you could take less of a loss, or maybe you'll get lucky and it goes profitable. But with SPRT, I mean, when that was all happening, I didn't know how messed up the entire situation was. But when you have these weird acquisition deals that seemingly kind of come out of nowhere, that's why I got out of SPRT right before it. Like, and I announced that publicly. I was like, guys, I'm in SPRT. I'm not. The acquisition's going through. This is the last day I'm trading SPRT. So with it for you, like it sucks. It's down. I know where you're at. It's not a good situation. I would be patient and I would watch that support. That's why you have to have a trading plan. Unfortunately, it's not good to just be coming in and ask a random YouTuber, be like, what should I do now? I'm down money. You should have a plan beforehand. And if I were you, my current plan for me personally, how I would handle it is watching this support from the low on September 28th. If it breaks below that, I would cut it completely for a loss. And in the meantime, I would keep my fingers crossed and look for a breakout above 28. Am I still bullish on AMC? Can you check Ortex? I'm very bullish on AMC. I have a lot of AMC. Right now, some of my AMC is transferring from Weeble to public, so it's somewhere out in the interwebs. I am long on AMC. I am long on GME. Yes, bullish. AMC, the short interest is 21%, and for GME, it's 15.16%. Noticing patterns comes from our ancestors' necessity to identify snakes. TA is easy. I'm more interested in the white magic of emoji trading. It's kind of funny. I thought you were going to take that somewhere else. The necessity to identify snakes. I mean, I feel like that's what we're doing with market makers right now and payment for order flow. This is, I think the reason why this is resonating with so many people is because we have the innate ability to recognize snakes. And that's exactly what we're doing. TA is just astrology for men. I love that. That is hilarious. Someone just said deal reach. I'm assuming. I'm trying to look for the Senate stuff. I made $200 on a workhorse put. Thank you for teaching me enough TA to make that call. You're a star, Matt. Don't let anyone tell you different. I appreciate that. And if you're watching right now, like that's my goal is like, I want to teach people a skill set and entertain. But if you're here just to be like, well, I'm going to hold and just do what Matt does, that's dangerous. What if I get sick? What if I decide to quit YouTube? What if I don't know, like what if I'm just wrong? You need to learn the skill set. If your trading methodology is based on should I buy or sell on what some guy is yelling into his camera in a basement, that's not a good scenario. You should not be doing that. And I mean, I guess I could speak in terms of myself and both Trey in this one. If your conviction in a trade is coming from a YouTuber or a Twitter account or a Reddit post, that's not good. Your conviction in the trade should come from your own DD. Might I put you in the direction or explain something or teach you a little bit about TA or how to monitor options? Yeah, but you got to have your own conviction. Your conviction shouldn't be like solely reliant on a YouTuber or a Twitter twatter or a Twitcher or a Redditor or any of that. I think that entire, I guess, ethos of methodology, it's dangerous. It's super dangerous. Which do you like better fundamentally, Sheeb or Doge? Fundamentally, I would like Sheeb better than Doge. But there's a huge caveat to that. Both of them are exponentially already fundamentally overvalued, both of them. So to me, it's not a fundamental driver. What the driver is measuring out the crowd psychology, the value of each community. Is there cross-pollination? Which one's bigger? Which one's more ravenous? So fundamentally, I do like SHIB better, but that doesn't matter. Both of them are trading way over their fundamental value. So you could just basically throw that out. Almost the same with AMC and GME. Are AMC and GME fundamentally overvalued? Yes, from a fundamental perspective, but this comes into the new world of 2021 where value is a deeply philosophical debate and value can be found in other things that aren't necessarily tied to its fundamentals. And that's what we're seeing in AMC, GME, that's what we see in SHIB, that's what we see in Doge, is we see the value, all of these assets are trading at a premium because of the value of community. So when it comes to SHIB and Doge, AMC, GME, I don't really care much about the fundamentals. On AMC and GME, I do, because the thesis of why they're shorting it is a fundamental thesis. So as that thesis weakens, it means the bearish position is also weakened. But in terms of how bullish to be and where all of these assets can go, it's a very interesting look at crowd psychology and the value of community and the perceived increase in value in community. I know that sounds like a little like, whoa, out there, like, but that's kind of where we're actually truly at right now. Not everything has to trade at a fundamental value. I mean, we were talking about BABA before. This is trading horrifically below its fundamental value. There's no rules. It's not like there's a rule book that things have to trade at their fundamental value. And throughout 2021 and the pandemic and various financial hardships, we're seeing that more and more people are starting to make decisions based on things that don't relate to fundamentals. Like we're actually seeing more and more asset classes say, hang on, like, okay, we could talk about the fundamentals, but what about this? I mean, we see crypto run on the fact that like Elon Musk could just tweet a picture of a dog that he just bought and it produces billions of dollars of value. And it's like, well, is that right or wrong? I don't know. I'll let someone else decide it. But in the meantime, if you can identify these types of trends, well, that means that you could probably line your own bank account, your own pockets. Speaking of fundamentally overvalued, have you seen the price of Bitcoin in the past several years? Yeah, I mean, I'm in it. And with it, I mean, crypto like that, I mean, the store of value, basically Bitcoin is essentially just pitching itself as a rival to gold. And it's saying, hey, we're better gold. Matt, I transferred from Robinhood to Fidelity. Now it says my cost basis takes 15 days. What does that mean? Probably just to update it to get like the price that you got in, but it doesn't matter. A cost basis is literally just a UI thing that's telling you what you got in at in case you forget. It doesn't actually change your position. You still have X amount of shares. It doesn't matter what it tells you you bought it at. It matters how much money you spent in real time when you purchased it. It's always nice to get a feedback on top of our DDTA because you literally live this every day. Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, it's kind of like my job to stay in tune with what is and isn't going in the group, what is like, and dive into like what the group is paying attention to. So I feel not only am I in the community, but I have to take like a high level objective look of what's going on within it. So it's an interesting position, and I feel like in my own, that I feel like I'm learning a lot about like psychology and crowd psychology. It's very, very interesting. I feel like I'm in a super fortunate position. Hey brother, thanks for all you do. I'm holding just over 50% of AMC shares in Weeble, 25% in public, and 25% in TDA. Should I pull out 100% of Weeble? You can. I mean, like you already bought the shares. So the payment for order flow and market makers you would be dealing with would come in the event that you want to sell. So for me, like I'm trying to do all of my trading on lit exchanges. So in the future, that's something you'd have to consider. But in terms of just like the question of like, is it okay for it to sit in a random brokerage? Well, yeah, it's fine. It's all about the active trades, not necessarily just like if they're sitting there in the meantime. Did I miss something? I need to know more about this Twitter twatter you talk about. I'm afraid I can miss the squeeze. My conviction follows YouTubers. Hashtag dipshit train. Is the market closed Monday? No, it is not. So on Monday, it's Columbus Day, it's Indigenous People Day, it's whatever you want to call it. But no, the market is not closed. The bond market is closed, but the stock market, the futures market are both open. Fidelity or Public? I find Public to be way easier because on Fidelity, you have to be using Active Trader Pro and then you have to route your orders. Like you have to manually do that. On Public, it's already done for you. You just buy what you want to buy. So Public, I don't know, just easier. But there is a trade-off because on Fidelity, you can trade in extended hours. On Public, you can't. But should you be trading in extended hours anyway? Well, that's a whole different discussion because there is no NBBO when you're in extended hours, so you're not protected by that regulation. There's various things to consider. I just find it easiest on Public. I will thank you to keep my hands off my Twitter twatter. Thank you very much. Matt not doing afternoon streams anymore. That is correct. That is 100% correct. So the entire goal is for me to basically make a more highly produced show in the morning, which is like slowly but surely what I'm doing. That's why from like 9 to 9:30, I have all those prep notes. I'm just trying to make it a higher level, more valuable show. And of course, it's still all free. Like it's not going to cost you anything whatsoever. I'm just trying to make something bigger and better because I've been doing the full day or like a lot of the stream over the past 10 months. And I'm like, okay, like when you do something for 10 months straight and you're not seeing the results you want in terms of AMC, GME, MOAS, I have to do something else. And I'm fortunate enough to be at the size that what I'm going to do, like if I produce something that is awesome and bring more people in, the entire goal is just to bring more people in, which is why I take so many interviews, why I talk to so many people, whether it's on podcasts or whatever, is because to me, it's as simple as if there's more apes, we have a greater possibility of winning. So one way I could potentially get more people to be aware of what's going on is by hopefully making higher quality content. Is this a good move or a bad move? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I also know not doing anything is, if I don't change anything, how can I expect different results? So my goal is to, when you make something more highly produced, it just takes more time in the back end. And honestly, I think I've been working even more later, but that's exactly why in the morning I have like kind of a, here's exactly what you need to know. It's just like more informative. And that's also why in the afternoon, there's a much more highly produced video upload, a VOD. So if you checked out the Doge one from yesterday, the Sheeb one, the global collapse, all of those just, they take a lot more effort. They take a lot more time, more editing, more research. So for me, it's just, the question is, I've been thinking about, I'm like, okay, if I can make more higher quality content, so technically less content, like a little bit less content, but much higher quality, that's the question is, will it bring in many more apes? My entire goal is just to spread a little bit of market education knowledge. It has nothing to do with like people, like these ding dongs out there. They're like, well, he's doing it. Like, what was the one I saw yesterday? It blew my mind just because of how like basically stupid it was that I'm streaming less because I want super chats or something like that. Like if I was just doing this because I was like, I want super chats, don't you think I would just continue to stream all day? It didn't make sense to me. Like, but whenever you do something, whenever you start to get like, I guess, whenever you're making waves, you're going to piss people off. And it just so happens that I piss off a lot of keyboard warriors on the internet, but also I then just question what are they doing with their life. But that's what's going on. That's why there's not an afternoon stream. It's an attempt to make more informative, highly produced content for all of you in the hopes of bringing in more apes, in the hopes of kind of creating the change that this community is really going for. If I can blow things up to the appropriate level to really just hopefully, I don't know, get actually truly heard one-on-one with someone like Gensler or a politician, that's the goal. We're here for legitimate change. And in the meantime, when we're waiting for that, it's fun to look into these other things such as IWM, SPY, the Qs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Sheeb, Doge, Solana, like all. There's so much to talk about. There's so many money making opportunities in the meantime as we are chew our bubble gum and walk the fight of AMC and GME. It's better to transfer. Is it better to transfer all stocks from Robinhood to public, or sell everything on Robinhood and buy via public? So the selling and buying would be quicker, without a doubt. But there could also be tax implications if you realize gains on your sale. So that gets a little bit hairy, and you might want to, like, I guess, talk to like a certified public accountant about that one. I kind of did both just to see what was faster. It was faster to sell and then buy. So basically, I just did a money deposit. I was like, oh, how long does this take? And it took a day, and I'm still waiting for my transfer to go through. But it's just a timing thing that might have some tax implications. So it's just like, are you okay with the tax implications to go quicker, or are you okay with it taking a couple more days, but potentially no tax implications? I wouldn't say one's obviously better than the other. It's what matters to you. But just to clarify, with public, when I deposited money, it hit the account like the next day. I started it one morning, the next day, like the money from my bank account hit. So I was able to buy then like within one day. When you make the videos of other tickers, ways to make money, you're going to bring in a large number of new interest in AMC and also teach us more. Smart. That's exactly my thought. Have you seen the video from Short the VIX calling shareholders, warning them about Weeble not actually having your shares? I have not. Thoughts on ANY? I think it'll continue to do well as long as crypto continues to do well. Andrew becoming an astronaut. Shout out to Andrew. I appreciate you joining up. Do you think it's a good idea to get calls or puts on the SPY? At this moment in time, I'd favor, well, not calls. I favor SPY going up, but that doesn't mean you should buy calls, because it also means that volatility could get crushed. So right now I'm in a favor of the market going up, but that doesn't mean necessarily you should buy calls because of volatility. We are happy to host the Apes all day, 24/7 on Bulldog Trading. Much love and positivity to you guys. We have always had your backs. Shout out to Bulldog Trading. You're wrong, Matt. It cost me a lot of money each day eating all these crayons while I watch your show. Shout out, Bo. All right. AMC currently up 2.6%, trading at 37.80. GME is up 1.7%, trading at 174. IWM is up 1.9%, trading at 224. And the SPY is up 1.5%, trading at 441.30. Just very, very quickly, SDC, remember that line is 660. You want it to get above, close above, and continue to push above 660. On ANY, this is going to be related to crypto, but it gets exciting above 760. In terms of crypto, all of it has been shooting up recently, now taking a little bit of a breather. If you want crypto, super easy to pick up at Voyager. The link is pinned to the top of chat, and the code's above my head. Whenever you trade $100 of any crypto, you'll get an extra $25 of Bitcoin. And don't forget, sign up for public if you're in the US and you want to trade on a lit exchange. Free trading, free sign up to $70 a stock. So you'll actually get paid to create an account and start using them. Hey, Matt, longtime listener, first time super chatter. Do you hold any Canadian shares on the TSX? No, I do not have, I guess Interactive Brokers. I don't really trade international markets. Shout out Mats Van Dorn. All right. That is it for show episode 99. Tomorrow is 100. Like I said, we got to do some sort of giveaway, whether it's like Discord, merch, lowering the price of my OnlyFans. Who knows what it's going to be, but tomorrow's going to be a fun one. So thanks for hanging out with me. It was an awesome day. Things are green. I hope you're making money. I hope your accounts are in the green. here's the plan. I will be doing an update video tonight. I have an interview going on in the background that I'll be posting probably this weekend. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lawyer who knows more about the legalese about Robinhood and Citadel. So be very, very excited for that, just to give us, instead of a lot of these assumptions, we could talk to a lawyer who knows what's actually going on. That interview will be happening and I'll be posting it this weekend. Tomorrow, Friday, I'm interviewing Michael Saylor, the CEO and founder of MicroStrategy. He's also very, very bullish on crypto. We'll be interviewing him about crypto. I am doing it with TTG, True Trading Group. It will be on their YouTube channel. That's tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It is completely free. And then on Saturday, I'm doing kind of a rundown of social sentiment trading with them. The sign up for that is in the description. And then on Monday, I'm doing a podcast with Dave Lauer to talk about market structure. The sign up is there for that. So we have a lot of things going on. Tomorrow, Michael Saylor, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm doing a social sentiment trading lecture with TTG. The sign up is there for that. And then the Dave Lauer thing is on Monday. I believe that's 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Once again, all these things are free. You need to sign up for the Trader Palooza thing. You need to sign up for the Dave Lauer thing. The Michael Saylor one, you just have to log into YouTube. But once again, they're all free. Just 2 of them take signups. And then there's going to be that lawyer interview coming out at some point this weekend. So those are all the things that should be on your radar. As you can tell, I'm attempting to do as much as I can possibly for this community before I get like too sleep deprived. But very, very excited for all of it. I think you guys are really going to like what's about to happen over the next couple of days. A lot of things kind of like aligning super well together. But overall, that's it for episode 99. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the engagement. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the public Voyager signups. You guys are absolutely the best. I'll catch you in the wrap-up video tonight, and then I'll catch you in the stream tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. when all the farmers and fishermen get up. As always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.